My name's Felix Holst, and I'm an artist and a designer. So this is my latest piece. It's a depiction of the ex-Mario Andretti BMW M1 Pro Car Series race car from around 79, 80. I painted this car for many reasons. I've always loved the M1. It was designed by my favorite car designer, Giugiaro. To me as a kid, it was like the ultimate rock solid supercar. It didn't look as flamboyant as some of the other cars, but I always had a sensibility for how kind of like the combination of this Teutonic solidity and then the very, very Italian wedge design just seemed to work in perfect unity in this car. I always loved Giugiaro's designs because even though he's obviously an Italian designer, he had a very, very Germanic flair, like very, very calm, very, very solid modernist lines. I realized recently that I've owned more cars designed by Giugiaro than any other designer. Not intentionally, but I've had a ton of Volkswagen Golfs, Mark 1s, Mark 2s, Alfetta GTVs, Volkswagen Dasher, and the list goes on and on and on. And it suddenly dawned on me that without even trying, I've actually owned a ton of my favorite designers' cars. I also got to work with Mario a few times when I was at Hot Wheels and just absolutely loved my time with that guy. The guy is such a personality, obviously a legendary race driver, but I've just got a real affection for Mario Andretti. And so when I saw the image that I based this painting on and realized that Andretti had the #1 car in the Pro Car Series, to me all the pieces fell into place. And of course the iconic BMW M Sport livery, which is just one of my favorites of all time, I could immediately see the painting that I wanted to paint. I could see the colors I wanted to use. This painting's a little bit of a change in direction stylistically for me. As I start to move into my era, being the kind of the late 70s and 80s, and as cars became more boxy, with a lot more straight lines and clean edges, I had to kind of clean up my style a little bit. So I think this painting is probably a far more realistic rendering than my previous works. I didn't go quite as over the top with the splatters and the paint and the dynamics because I really wanted to pay truth to the form that Giugiaro achieved with the M1. The M1 is such a beautifully proportioned and understated car that I felt that the style that I had to apply to the painting needed to reflect that and needed to be a little bit cleaner. Technically with this painting I learned a few things and I had to experiment with a few things. On the surface it's a white car and all of the shadows in the interior are black, but when you actually look at the painting there's only a very, very small amount of white used in it in order to capture the dimensions and the proportions of the car. I had to really work with the shadows, and it's a funny thing that when you paint a white car you don't really use white. You know, I only use white for the highlights. The rest of the car's in different shades of cool grey, and the same for the shadows. The shadows are they go from purple to dark green to light green, and I realized when I finished the painting that I hadn't ever reached for the black paint tin on this, and it gives the painting a very, very gentle, soft feel. It's almost reminiscent of old Sid Mead design renderings and science fiction illustration, which is a look that I love and it's a look that I've strived for. And I realized that one of the ways you do that is by not actually using black. Let the shadows, let the dark areas kind of fade a bit into the background, and it gives a very kind of ethereal feel. And then combined with kind of my trademark burn into hot pink, it seems to bring the thing alive, but also give it a kind of dreamlike quality, which is something I really strive for in my work. I still want to keep the dynamic and the color and the sound and the motion alive in the way that I apply colour to the painting. And I'm hoping I've achieved that with this one.